Hi guys, for those of you who are new to my channel, hi, my name is Wajihat Bankole and welcome to my channel. And for those of you who've been here, welcome back to my channel and welcome to my top 24 books of 2024. I cannot believe we're here again. So these are books that I generally love. These are books that have been on my mind since I read them. I have my notes here, so remember some of the memory of the book. If you see me looking down, it's because I'm trying to refresh my memory about the book and which number is which, because yeah, my drink of the video is coffee, so grab yours. We're gonna be here for a while. We're gonna be yapping about books for a while, so yeah. Anyways, without further ado, we're gonna start. We're gonna go from bottom to top, so from 24 to number 1 book. So the book that came in 24th is The Vicious Games by Joelle Wellington. It's a high stakes YA thriller, and this we follow our main character Adina Walker, who gets invited to this game that is being held by one of the prestigious family in her town. She goes to this elite school with rich kids, and her parents are actually professors at that school, so she was able to go to that school on scholarship. So she gets invited to the games in order to redeem her reputation and get a acceptance letter into a Harvard. So situation happened between her and another student, and it basically messed up everything she worked towards gaining. And so in order to get back what she lost, that she felt like it was unfair that she lost that, she gets invited to this high-stake game. In her mind, she thinks it's gonna be some easy games, but when she starts the game, she realizes these are deadly games. And as she's playing these games, she uncovers some really dark truth about the family that is holding the game and the institution in general. And then she has to make a decision of how far will she be willing to go in order to make her dreams come true, or if she needs to get out of there. This was a really good book. It was very confusing read, where you think you understand where the read is going, and then it takes you on a different path and you're like, what's going on? I genuinely loved this book. I was so surprised. I didn't think I was gonna like it, but I actually enjoyed it, and I think I read it in a day. But it was such a thrilling book where you're just on the edge of your seat and you're like, okay, what's gonna happen next? What's gonna happen next? But it is very dark, I will tell you that. It's crazy. I cannot believe this is young adult, because some of the stuff that was happening in there, I was like, oh, okay, this is crazy. But I 100% recommend this book. I think it's an amazing read. And yeah, so number 24. So number 23, I actually do not have a physical copy of it because I listened to the audiobook on Libby. But number 23 is I Know Who You Are by Alice Finney. This is a psychological thriller, and I want to say this is like my second thriller by Alice Finney that I read, and I actually really like this one. It's our main character is an actress whose past starts to sneak up on her, but it's not what you think it is. It was very like weird and very like confusing and eerie at the, like, especially the end. You're like, whoa, this is crazy and disturbing. But I actually like it, and like I said, it was packed with a lot of twists and a lot of different situations that you did not even see coming, and you're like, never would I have thought this is where this story is going. And I felt like listening to it also make the book really good, because you get to hear the different voice actor, and you get to like be able to paint the character and be able to really see what's going on. I highly recommend this book. It was crazy. It really was crazy. So number 22 is Heartless Hunter by Christine. I'm not gonna try to butcher her last name, but I enjoyed this book. I feel like just the two main character, and they're both of them deceiving one another, but ends up falling for each other and not even seeing it coming, was such a good plot of the book. And I just feel like the setting of the book and like having two sides fighting against each other is crazy. So our main character, I forgot her name, but I do know she was basically playing Hannah Montana in a way. So in Heartless Hunters, witches are banned. You're not allowed to do witchcraft, so they get taken and killed. So our main character is living in between the two worlds, where she's acting like she's not a witch, but she really is a witch, and then she's acting as a savior for the witches. So at night she will go out, she will save a witch that is probably being taken by the witch hunters, and she will save their lives and give them a new opportunity. But then during the day, she's acting as this prestigious lady of society. And our second character, male character, he's a witch hunter. He suspects our main character, but he's not sure. He suspects that she's the crimson moth, so in order to discover if she really is, he gets close to her and tries to see if she's going to, you know, mess up. But while doing this, they both kind of fall for each other, and it was just a book of like push and pull, betrayal, and it was just a lot of twists that I was like, oh my god, crazy. I highly recommend this one too. I really enjoyed it. It was such a good read. All right, so coming in number 22, we have Hair of Stardust and Secret by Sissy Hartley. This story, our main character Nayeli is basically living in the shadows, but then she discovers that she has this ancient power within her that she didn't know she had. And then our second character, which is our male character, he's the king. So basically the king is seeking something to protect his kingdom, and their paths crossed, and he realizes that maybe the power that Nayeli has might be the key to protecting his kingdom. But this was such a good book of twist. I feel like she's such a strong female character, and her discovering herself through this journey, especially a power that she didn't know she had after, like, you know, her family being torn apart and her not knowing anyone except her best friend. I really enjoyed it, and I really highly recommend this book. Coming in at number 20 is Flawless by Elsie Silver. This was, actually don't really remember a lot. You know, it's the fact that it's my top 20 and I don't really remember a lot. It wasn't necessarily one of my all-time favorites from Chestnut Spring series. This is the first book of the Chestnut Spring series, but I actually had a good time reading this book. I feel like it was really funny. I really liked Summer. I felt like Summer was really funny, and I felt like she was able to tone down Rieth. I feel like, I don't know how to say his name. I really enjoyed them together. In the beginning, I didn't. In the beginning, I was not rooting for them. But towards the end, I was like, okay, maybe they are cute. So I do recommend it, but it's not my number one favorite of the Chestnut Spring series. But coming in at number 19, we have Happy Place by Emily Henry. I'm not really a big fan of second chance romances, but I think this one was actually one of my favorites. There are a lot of things in this book that I did not agree with and I was not vibing with. I thought it could have been a lot different, but then I had to remind myself, this is fictional, this is not reality. So I should not be judging so harshly. In this book, our main character Harriet and Wayne have to pretend that they're still together in order to make their friend group getaway less awkward and to keep the peace between their friend group while they're at the getaway and at the cottage that basically jump-started their relationship. A lot of feelings were brought out and a lot of things that in my opinion should have been discussed early on were finally discussed. There was some kind of betrayal here and there, but everyone figured it out and came together. But I did enjoy it. I feel like in the beginning I was really liking it. I really was. But then at the end I was just like, I don't know if this is just like smart, like what happened was smart. I feel like it could have gone a different way, but then again I didn't write the story, so I should not be judging. But I do recommend it. I feel like a lot of people rated it a 5-star. I didn't. I think I rated it like a 4-star or something. Sorry, my eye. But I do recommend it. Coming in at number 18, we have Good Bad Girl by Alice Finney. But in this one we follow 3 different women, like their stories, basically how they connect with one another. So in the first POV, a baby was stolen. We get the past, we get the present, right? We get how that life is going and how some decisions that were made, it's hard for me to explain without spoiling, but some decisions that were made changed and altered a lot of lives. I generally did enjoy this book. I think it surprised me in a lot of ways. A lot of the twists and like the plot twist that happened, I did not see coming actually. And I do highly recommend this book. At number 17, we have 5 Survive by Holly Jackson. I love Miss Holly Jackson. So 5 Survive is about a group of 6 friends that were on a road trip, and it turns into a deadly trip. Okay, they get trapped in the middle of a remote area, and there's a sniper literally targeting them because one of them is holding a secret that they want it. So 6 people trapped in an RV with their tires blown out, with someone out there with a gun ready to kill anyone that tries to run. Yeah, the tensions were high, secrets starts to unravel. It was a lot, but it was such a good book, and I was sitting at the edge of my bed. I absolutely recommend this book. Coffee break. All right, coming in at number 16, we have Foxglove by Miss Adeline Grace. I'm pretty sure I just pronounced her first name wrong, and I'm so sorry. I don't know what just happened. But this was actually the second book in a series, so it's kind of hard for me to explain this book without spoiling the first one. But I will say I really enjoyed this. It felt like more of a filler though. More of a filler for the story. I have not yet read the 3rd book. I need to, but I did enjoy it and I do recommend it. All right, besties. So coming in at number 15, Bloodmarked by Tracy Dion. I absolutely love this series. It's so hard for me to explain this one though, because again, spoiling the first book, and I don't want to do that. But this is going to be a trilogy. The 3rd book comes out in 2025. So excited. In this book, we get to see Bree connecting with her new abilities. We get to, I hope that's not spoiling, I really do, but I don't think it is. But we get to see Bree going on this journey and figuring things out. I don't want to say on her own, but really on her own. And we get to see a different side of Bree, a different side of the other characters too. I really did enjoy this one, but I do like the first book better. I feel like the first book was such a good book, but this book, I felt like there was so many things explained over and over again. It felt like information dumping. The first book, I understand why we were information dumping, because it is the first book. We're just getting to know these characters in this world. But for me, I feel like the second book didn't need that. Okay, maybe if you had read the first book a while ago and then you're reading the second book later, but I feel like if that's the case, might as well reread the first book. So I felt like a lot of things were over explained, and it made it really hard for me to really stay connected. And like, yeah, that's all I have to say, but I did enjoy the book. I really did. All right, coming in at number 14, we have Beach Read by Emily Henry. I feel like this was just a cute romance, but I didn't feel connected to this one. So in this story, we follow our 2 main characters, I guess in January. So January's dad passes away and he leaves her his beach house, and January's dad was not a faithful guy, I believe, and she ends up having to move into the beach house for a while because she was going through financial problems and she didn't have anywhere to stay. But while being in the beach house, she was gonna pack up the beach house and sell it so she can get money. But their January is a book writer, and she normally writes romance books and stuff like that, but lately her books have not been doing well. And then our second character, Gus, he is her next door neighbor, and he writes. August writes thrillers, like literal fiction. They're polar opposites, right? But they're neighbors, and while living next to each other, they end up getting closer. They basically end up challenging each other to write a book based on each other's genre. So, but this one kind of felt flat for me. I did not feel connected to either of the character, but I did enjoy it. I think it was a great book. It just was not my like Emily Henry, like my Emily Henry 5-star. All right, coming in at number 13, Belladonna by Adeline Grace. And this is the first book of the Foxglove like the Belladonna trilogy. And this is why I couldn't talk about Foxglove a lot. So the Belladonna slash Foxglove is a gothic fantasy. Main character, Signa Farrow, she has this very unique ability of connecting with death, and she's had bad luck in terms of like the people she lives with. So her parents died tragically, and since then she has been moving from relative to relatives, but these relatives, they are exploiting her and they always end up dead. So people started calling her like cursed, like they think she's cursed because each relative she ends up living with ends up dead. She discovered that she can connect and communicate with death through belladonna. So she eats so much, she ends up literally dead, and she's able to see death and stuff and talk to him. A particular book that I don't think many people fell in love with right away, because I didn't. Okay, at first I was like, oh my god, this is so slow, but I kept giving it chances, and I actually ended up really liking it, and I felt like I started to like connect with Signa a little bit more in the middle of the book. I do recommend it. Coming in at number 12, listen to the audiobook for this one too. Cinderella is Dead by Colleen Byron. Okay, when I tell you 2024 was my era of reading books that I feel like are not as popular as some of the other books, I love that for me. I discovered a lot of like new reads that I have not heard anything about, and it felt really good, and it felt really just, I felt in awe of that. But Cinderella is Dead is basically a retelling of the Cinderella fairy tale, and it's in a dystopian world. So our main character, Sophia, so she hates the norms of her, you know, world. So in her world, it's being told that as a girl they have to live the Cinderella lifestyle. They have to read the storybook, the book, and they have to prepare to go to this ball when they get invited by the king, right? So when they get invited by the king, they have to prepare to get basically bought by men, grown men. Okay, these are really young girls that have to wear nice dresses. They have to have their hair done. They have to act a certain way to impress these men at this big ball, right? And they have to like line up, and the men have to like look at which ones they want, and then if they want this person, they take their hand. It's like so weird, okay? It's weird, oppressive. And my girl Sophia was not feeling it. She was not feeling it. And it's a queer book also, by the way. So she has this big secret that she's keeping to herself. She has this best friend, I forgot her name, but they're best friend, but they're really lovers in a way. And her best friend is not here with the whole rebellion thing that Sophia is trying to do. So in Sophia, she's always trying to make her, you know, significant other run away with her, like, let's get out of here, like this is not the right place for us. But her, you know, significant other slash best friend is like, no, I cannot humiliate my family, I cannot bring shame onto my family, like no, I am going to stay here and follow the rules and just do whatever these people want me to do, so I'm not putting my family in danger. Sophia was not having it. She did not care, okay? She did rebel, and while she, you know, started to rebel and she left the town, well, she kind of had to, or else she was gonna get killed by the king. She starts to uncover some truth about her kingdom and her king. And it was such a crazy book. It was so good. It was such a different vibe, and it's just unique. I feel like it was really unique. I really recommend it. I loved it. I had a great time reading that book. And then at number 11, we have Assistant to the Villain by Hannah Nicole Maria. I feel like I said her last name very wrong. In this book, we follow our main character, Eve, and she works for the villain. The book was just filled with humor, suspense. I don't know, I feel like it was such a good book, and it was such a fast-paced book, and it's just a fun book to read. And you know, Eve ends up discovering some truth about herself, her father, and just in general, and it's such a great book. Moving up to my top 10 books for 10 is Eight of Spades by Frida Abike Iyemide. This was such a good book. It felt so surreal. Like, when you first read the book, you think, oh, this is Gossip Girl, but then it turns into a dark, twisted thriller. Okay, the YA thriller, and it basically tackles the systemic racism and privilege at an elite academy. And there's only 2 black students in this that goes to the school. Okay, there's only 2 black students, our main characters. Devin is our main male character, and we have Chiamaka. These are the only 2 kids going to this white school. And Chiamaka is known as this hit girl. Okay, she worked her butt off to get to where she is because she knows that she had to beat all odds to get to her dream school. And then everything was fine until their senior year. Their senior year, things started going down for both Chiamaka and Devin. This unknown character, anonymous character named Ace gets introduced into the picture. Ace starts to send dark secrets about Chiamaka and Devin to the whole school, basically destroying their reputation and their life, trying to destroy their chances of getting into a good college and getting out of the town that they live in. Chiamaka's family is, middle class-ish, and Devin only lives with his mother, and she, has to work a lot to, support Devin. And I think he has siblings, if I'm not wrong. So Devin is in the lower class. When everything started unfolding their senior year, there, things that are horrible, they come together. These are 2 kids from different, different sides of, society. They come together to try to figure out what the heck is going on and why is it just the 2 of them being targeted by Ace. And while doing this, they reveal some really dark secret about the institution, the school that they're going into that dated back years. Covered the conspiracy that was threatening to destroy their lives and their future. But it was such a good book, and I did not see the things that happened in this book coming at all. Even till today, I'm thinking about the book, and I really do want to reread this book. I absolutely adored this book because it was such a different level of thrill. Okay, it was such a different level of thrill, and I'm telling you right now, crazy. I highly recommend it. And coming in at number 9, we have A Tempest of Tea by Afasa Aizal. Our main character, Hardy, runs a tea house. So from outside, it's a tea house, but once it gets dark at a certain time, it becomes a blood house for vampires. So she's running this with her family, and she comes together with different people that have lived very hard life just like her. But while running the tea house, she uncovers a lot of secrets about the society and the things that they've done and just the things that they're lying about. I absolutely love this book, but I absolutely recommend this book too. It's such a good book. I felt like Hardy was such a strong female character that I'm just I adore her. Number 8, I do not have the physical copy of this one, but I did listen to it on Libby, and it is What Lies Between Us by John Maris. I don't really remember the main character's name, but this was a psychological thriller about 2 women. So our main characters are 2 women that are locked in a twisted and toxic relationship. It turned into revenge and trying to keep their secrets wrapped and not unwrapped, basically. I did like it. I just don't know why I'm blanking on the 2 main characters name and some of the things that happened in the book. I don't know why I'm blanking on it, but it was such a good book, and I highly recommend it. Coming in at number 7, I have Magnolia Parks, The Long Way Home by Jessa Hastings. I absolutely love the Magnolia Parks universe. I do love the Magnolia Parks universe. I do feel like it's a particular taste though, but I just like the drama. I'm gonna be honest with you. There was a lot of drama in this universe, and I highly recommend the universe. If you have not read this book, please read the series. Coming in at number 6, we have Legend Born by Tracy Deonn. It is like a very heavy book to read because there's a lot of things that are like, if you don't know, it's hard to understand. But the one thing I do love that Tracy Deonn did is like she wrote like what things meant. If they're saying things in like the Arthurian language, she would write what they meant. So I really did appreciate that, and I highly do recommend this book. Coming in at number 5, Magnolia Parks, Into the Dark. I love this book. That's all I have to say. I feel like this was a perfect ending to the Magnolia Parks universe. Can you see, like, I really did annotate the heck out of this book. I absolutely loved it. It took me a minute to get through this book. Now we're gonna move on to my top 4 of 2024. All right, coming in at number 4, we have Heartless by Elsie Silver. Love it. I love Cade. I love him. I love him. I generally had fun reading this book. I also annotated the heck out of this book. Okay, it's so fun. Like, look, do you see this? I annotated her so much. Crazy. Such funny moments, and I absolutely recommend this book. And then at number 3, we have Magnolia Parks by Jessa Hastings. This is where we meet Magnolia and BJ, and we get to learn about their messy lives and messy relationship and toxic relationship. We get to see all the drama that happened. I absolutely love this book because it just felt like a reality TV show. It was like, it didn't feel fiction, okay? It felt real, which is crazy, but it did. And I was just like, oh my God, like, I love this. Like, I would watch a show about them. Like, I don't care. Give it to me. I absolutely love this, and that is why it's on my top 3. Like, top 3. Now we are at my top 2 books of 2024. These are books that have my heart. These are books that I still think about. And these are books that I will be forever grateful for because it kind of changed my life and my viewpoint of reading in certain ways. Number 2, we have Inheritance by Nora Roberts. This is the first book of the Lost Bride trilogy, and this was like a historical fantasy, suspenseful, loving fantasy. It was my first read of 2024, and it did not disappoint. It did not disappoint. I absolutely love her. I adore her, and I highly recommend it. Now, let's talk about the main character of this video. My number 1 read of 2024. I feel like most of you could have guessed this if you watched my previous video because I have talked about this book in a lot of my videos. But my top read is Yours Truly by Jaime Jimenez. When I tell you this book has my heart, it's everything and more to me. Thinking about the book makes me want to cry. It's a beautiful book. I highly recommend it. It has my heart, and I cannot wait to reread it. Okay, and with that being said, that is my top 24 books of 2024. I cannot believe we're here. It took a minute, but we got there. Okay, and I hope you're still here with me. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you guys got some really good recommendations that you might want to add on your TBR for 2025. 2025, here we come. I cannot wait to see my reading journey in 2025. Crazy. And if you're new here and this is my first video you're watching and you like the vibes, go ahead, hit that subscribe button. Bye.